Alright, my first game request from a Patreon member. This is Video Cart 08 for the Fairchild Channel F Magic Numbers. I gotta do Mind Reader game and NIM. Plus some miscellaneous achievements, such as on Mind Reader, correctly guess the answer in Mind Reader in 3 guesses or fewer. I could probably do that on the easiest mode. Probably the hardest one is on mode 4, which is the hardest difficulty. Earn at least 50 points before the CPU owns 30. Someone mentioned something about buffering for RNG manipulation to get the same sequence of numbers to pop up, making it so that you can get that achievement after just putting 3 numbers in. Well, 36-digit numbers. But I couldn't get it to repeat itself. I figure I'm doing something wrong. Maybe it's because I was holding down a button too long, or I'd have to figure it out. So I'm gonna just try and play it normally. First things first, let's try on mode 1, see if we can do the in 3 guesses or less. Start. Alright. Okay, that goes that way, so let's just do 1, 2, and 3. One number is correct, but in the wrong place. In that case, let's move the 2 to there, and then we'll do 4, 5. Okay. Possible that the 2 was the correct number, and there is no 1, 3, 4, or 5. So let's do 2, 6, 7, see what that says. Ooh. Got it. Well, anyways. Reset. Still trying to get it within 3 guesses. One, 2, 3. I got an H and a T. So we'll do 1, 3, 4. We have just a T, which means the 1 is in the wrong place and the 2 was the correct number. There is no 3 or 4. The reason why I say that is because I had an H and a T. I changed a 2 to a 3, assuming that the 1 was the H and the 3 was the T. I ended up with just a T, which tells me my H went away, and the only thing that changed was the 2 turned into a 3, and the 3 turned into a 4. Which told me that the 2 was the correct number in the correct place, and because the 3 was still there, and I still only had 1 number in the wrong place, it told me the 1 was in the wrong place. Which means 3 and 4 are eliminated. Now I'll just hope the answer is 5 so I can get it within 3 guesses. Yes! Alright. Now, next will be game mode. That was mode 2? That wasn't mode 1? Could have sworn that was mode 1. Do I have to hit mode 1 first? Yep, apparently that was mode 2. Wow. This is the easier difficulty. Why did I do 00? Let's do 91. Let's do 82. 73. 54. Or 64. There you go. So yeah, you don't have to do the 3-digit one. You can do it on the easier difficult. I apparently did not know what I was doing. Alright, game 1. Mode 3. I did not realize it started on mode 2 by default. Alright, 4 digits. We'll go with... Oh, I gotta press start to get rid of that. Nope, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 numbers are correct, but in the wrong place. Okay, let's go ahead and do 5, 1, 2, 3. We'll change this to a 6, make this the 3, and this the 1. Woohoo! I just need this one last digit. Alright, now the downside is I think on mode 4 the numbers can be repeating, which makes it much more difficult. Alright. So, because numbers can repeat, okay, so we start at 20, and if I get it right on the first guess, I gain 20 points is what I'm getting. And each wrong guess will decrease it by 1, which increases each computer by 1. So theoretically, I would have to get... So if I do it within 3 guesses, that's a total of 60 points. So if I do 10 wrong, that's half of 1 down to 50. Which would put them at 10. So if I go another 10 wrong, I'm just trying to do some mental math here, I do apologize. They would be at 20, so they can go up to 29, so I can get 29 wrong, which means a total of 79. Out of 80. So that'd be at 51 versus 29. So I have to get 3 correct answers with getting less than 29 guesses wrong in 4 of them. Wow. Okay. Let's see if anyone else has any big hints. No, someone mentioned the buffering, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. Other than that, someone just tried to explain how the game works, and someone else mentioned creating a program and a more in-depth explanation of what I've already been doing. Except for he decided to create a computer program to help himself. Alright, anyways, I usually go by assuming 0 is never one of the guesses. Oh, it's not a 6-digit number, it's a 5-digit number. Okay, that makes things a little bit easier. Ooh, that's good. So we'll do the same thing we did with the 4-digit. We'll just reverse each of these numbers by 1. And then I will make this 6. Ooh, that took away a number. So 5 was one of them that was in the wrong position. 6 is not one of them, is my guess. Damn, I don't have any paper nearby. Alright, let's try and remember this stuff. So I'm guessing... So 2 of them are still in the wrong position. So I'm going to turn... Assume 4 is now the correct spot. 1 is the number that doesn't need to be. 6 I already know isn't needed. So we'll turn that to a 7. We'll assume 1 isn't needed. And we'll switch the 3 and the 2. Okay, so we found the fourth number is a 7 or an 8. The 1 is the number that was in the correct position. And all other numbers are in the wrong place. Oh, I put 3 back in the same position it was originally. That's my bad. I should not have done that. Okay, so let's make this a 4. Make this the 3. The 1 should be the correct number. Let's make this the 7. And this the 2. Nope. I was wrong about the 1. Which means the 2 goes here. Because that's the only time there was an H. I'm assuming 8 is now correct. So let's go ahead and go 1 there. 3 has not been there. Put the 8 there and the 7 here. So I should have at least 1 H and 4 T's. No? Damn. Okay, so what's changed? What's changed? I don't have a 4 anymore. I know 2 is in the correct spot. Let's assume 3 is in the correct spot. Why do I have this? I didn't mean to have the 7 there. I meant to still have a 4. So let's make this the 8. This the 1. And this the 4. See what that does. That's worse. Okay. 8. Let's make that a 9 and this a 5. Okay, so this 1. Oh wow, that's worse. Okay, I'm just gonna restart. Let me pull up Notepad at least. I couldn't. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up Notepad. I'm just gonna open up a new thing because that's a lot of text. I don't want to. Okay. Game 1, mode 4, start. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 T's. Let's switch the 1 and the 2. Make this a 6, 7, and 8. Why are you still going? Okay. A 5. A 9. This a 9. Nope. So 1 there. I'm just going to try a different strategy. See what works. Why did I do all zeros by accident? I pressed the wrong button. Because the numbers can repeat, so let's try and eliminate 2 numbers at a time. Okay, 1 number is correct. It would have 4 T's if it was a 1 in the wrong position. So I know 2's in the wrong position. So let's go ahead and move the 2 here. Make everything else a 3. 2's still in the wrong position, so let's make this the 2 and move these up to a 4. So there was a 1 in the wrong position and a 3 in the wrong position. 3 wasn't here, 1 wasn't here. And assume there's no 2's or 4's. The reason why is because there was one number in the wrong position. I assumed it would have like 4 T's because all 4 were 1's. And I had 1's in the first 4 spots, but not in the last. And then when I had the 2 still there and all 3's. Wait, what am I talking about? There's still a T there. Did I not see that? Okay. Forget my nonsense rambling. Let's put the 2 here. I could have sworn it would all blank, but I think I just looked at the wrong line. So, I don't have 2 in the numbers. I still only have 1 of the numbers. Okay, 2 is now in the correct spot. Which means I can now make 3 6's and a 7. And I'll have at least 1 H. And I'll have a T. 7 is the T. So let's put that there and go 8s. Aha! So let's assume the first 8 is correct and make these 2 9s. Let's make that a 0. 9. So that's definitely a 9. 8? No, because that was in the wrong spot. Okay, I know that. Oh, so I didn't try 2 7's. Damn. Okay. It's because I only had 1 7, but I had done multiples of the other numbers. Okay, I understand a little bit more about how it works, I think. To test, we'll still do all 1's. And we'll do 1 2. Okay. That tells me the 2 is in the correct position. 1 of the 1's is in the correct position. The other 3 1's are in the incorrect position because they don't belong there. So I'll make this 3, 3, 3. So now, the second, I could, yeah, because there wouldn't be 3 T's if the 2 was also in the wrong position, though theoretically, 2 of the 1's could be in the correct position. The 2 could be in the incorrect position, but be a right number and be one of those T's. That is a possibility. But I'll go on the assumption that the 2 and one of the 1's is correct, so I'll leave the ends. And I'll go with 3's. And I forget what I was saying before I realized that the 2 could be a correct number but in the wrong position. Okay. That tells me my second guess was correct. So 2 of the 1's, no. Right now, the 2 is still in the correct position, but the 1 is in the incorrect position. The 3 is non-existent, if I'm reading that correctly. Assume the 2 is still correct. The 1 is now in the wrong position. 3's are not needed. So let's make that a 4. Add one number at a time until I can figure out which second number, where the 1 goes. Because I know it's one of the first 4 spots. Okay, that tells me same information, which means 4's are not needed. The 2 is still correct, the 1 is still wrong. So let's try adding a 5. Okay, this one is a little bit more difficult for me to assume. So the 2 is still correct because that's been a constant. I'm assuming the 1 is still in the wrong position. only because all three fives can't be in the wrong position with a 1 in the correct position. Because if all three fives were in the wrong position, I have nowhere to put the fives with the 1 and 2 staying where they are. So that's why I am going to move the 1 to this last spot. I will leave the first 5 there, and I will add the 6s. So I'm still going to have 2 H's, possibly 3. There we go. 5, 1, and 2 in the correct spots. Because if the 5 was still in the incorrect spot, I would have a T. So now I can actually do 7 and 2 numbers because I have 3 of the numbers already done. So once you have 3 numbers correct and you know which ones they are and which position they're in, you can do 2 different numbers at a time. Because especially once you realize which ones you've already narrowed out. And this tells me I just need to switch these 2 numbers. All right. New game. Computer has 6 points. I have 14. Same strategy. Trying to figure out 2 of the numbers. Okay. Only 1 T, which means none of the ones were in the correct spot. The 2, however, is in the wrong spot. So we'll move the 2, add the 3s. While we try and figure out which 2 is in the correct, where the 2 correct spot is, we only want to work on 2 things at a time. Once one of them is in the correct spot, we can change 2 different numbers. Okay, 2 is still in the incorrect spot, and 3s are not needed. So we'll add 4s and move the 2. Okay, so all 4 4s are in their incorrect spot, which tells me that's where the 4 goes. The 2 is still in the incorrect spot, so we'll try it there, and we'll add in some 5s. Because there's only one possible 4. We already know the 2 was in the incorrect spot and hadn't tried it in the first 2. And since 3 of the 4s can't all fit in the same spot as that last one, that should give me 2 H's and possibly... If I get a third H, one of the 5s is correct. If I only get the 2, no 5s. And which would mean... Should I try adding a... Yeah, I'll add a 6 as well. 2 H's and a T, so that tells me the 5s are not there. The 2 and the 4 is correct. So let's find out where the correct 6 goes and add a 7. So the 6 will either go there or in front. It's in the correct spot. We can go 8, 9. Figure out the last 2 numbers. We got 1 T. So we'll assume the 8 is the correct number in the wrong spot, and we'll add a 0 up front. Now, I only tried the 6 in one spot, so I could have a repeating 6. That's what it was. The reason why I assumed I had a repeating 6 was because I moved the 8 and I had the H, which gave me 2 possibilities. Either the 8 was the incorrect number and suddenly the 0 was a correct number, which couldn't work because I hadn't moved the 9 yet. So that told me the 2, 4, 6 were correct, the 8 was correct. I had already figured out I didn't need the 1, the 3, the 4. Well, I already figured out which 4 and 2 I needed. I didn't need any 5s. The 2 could have still repeated because I had only tried one of those. So that was the other possibility. But I had already tried 2 7s and didn't get that extra T. And the 8 was another possible repeat since I had eliminated the 9. Okay, go 1 1 1 1 2. 1 H, that's the 2. 2 is in the correct spot. So I will try 2 different numbers. Go 3 3 3 4. I'll have at least 1 H. Still have 1 H. So 3, 4, 1 are eliminated. Let's go 5, 5, 5, 6. We have a T. 6 is in the incorrect spot. 5s are eliminated, so we'll go 6 or 7, 7, 7 or 7, 7, 6, 7. 6 is now in the correct spot. 7s have been eliminated. Let's do 2 8s and a 9. One of the 8s is not in the correct spot, but the other 8 is. So, which numbers could be repeating? I haven't tried the 0 yet, so let's change the second one to a 0, because the 9 is definitely in the correct spot. Same for the 6 and the 2. One of the 8s was, so this will either give me 3 H's and a T as a possibility, which means I just have to take the 0 out and put an 8 there. I haven't tried a duplicate 2 or duplicate 6 or duplicate 9 yet. 4 H's, so 8 is correct. So let's start with a duplicate 2. There it is. Okay, 19 to 41. So as long as I get it within 10 guesses, I get that other achievement I need. Let's go 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, one of the ones is in the correct spot. The 2 is not needed because the other 3 ones are just in the wrong spot. So let's do 1, 1, or 1, 3, 3, 3, 3. Trying to figure out where the 1 goes and what my second number is. Aha! So, the 1 is still in the incorrect spot because one of the 3's is in the correct spot. The other 3's are in the incorrect spot because they can't all fit in one spot. So there's only 1 3, only 1 1. I have to figure out where the 1 goes. Leave one of the 3's there. And I don't like doing this, but now I'm playing with a third number. So, what could possibly happen? I could still have a T for the 1. I could now end up with a T for the 3. If I don't have any H's, then the 3 goes in the second spot and I'm still trying to find the 1. If I have 2 H's and no T's, then I got the 1 and 3 in the correct spots and the 4 is eliminated. Okay, so one of the numbers is in the correct spot. One of the numbers is not. The 4 is eliminated. So I will now assume 1 is in the correct spot and the 3 is not. So I know the 3 doesn't go up front. So let's make that one the 3 and try to add 5s. Now this complicates things even more because if I don't get any H's, then I have to move the 3 back and figure out where the 1 goes, but the 1 would have 2 different positions. H and 4 T's. Yeah. Great, complicate things for me more. So I want to say the 3 goes in the 3rd position because the 3 5's can't all be in the wrong spot and the 3 still be in the wrong spot. Yes, it can. The 3 can go in the last position and the 5 can go where the 3 is. Let's assume that. Let's assume the 1 is still the correct number. Let's assume this has to be the 5 and this has to be the 3. And if that does not give me 3 H's, I might not get the 50 points because I might have lost track of what I'm doing because I haven't been typing it in Notepad. Ouch. 3 T's. Okay, so 6's are eliminated. The 3 goes here. The 5 could go here with a 1 here. And let's add the 7. 2 H's, 2 T. I had a second 1. Whoops. I forgot to make that Okay. Let's assume the 2 T's were the 2 1's and the 2 H's are the... No, it can't be the 3 and the 5. Uh-oh. Let's make this the 5. That an 8. This the 1. That should still give me 2 H's for the 3, the 1. Nope. Got it. So the 5 goes there. Because I lost my H. Where does the 1 go? Were the 1 and 5 correct and the 3 still wrong? I don't know. I only got 3 guesses left. I'm losing track. Okay, so we had 1 number correct. Let's assume it was a 3. If we put the 1 back and remove the 7 over here, because I kept the 7 in the spot, make this the 5. Let's make this a 9 and put the 1 back here. Still trying to find out the next number, so let's just do 2 9s here. So that should give me 3 H's now. Oh wait, I was gonna make this a 7. There we go. I can't have this a 7 because I wanted to put the 1 back. So let's assume the 3 is now an H still. The 5 was in the wrong spot and the 7 was in the wrong spot, so I switched those. I put the 1 back, which I'm assuming is my second H from that top line, because I already know it doesn't go in the second position. And then assume 8 has been eliminated, which means this should be the correct number. Or unless the 9 is not a 9, it's a 0. Wait, what? Oh, okay. 3 H's and a T. So 7 in the incorrect spot. So 7 goes here. Not there. So that should give me 4 H's at least. No, 3 H's. So the 9, not the 7, was in the incorrect spot. So what goes here? I want to see the other numbers. Crap. Because I had 3 T's when I had a 5. Crap, what was it again? So yeah, write these things down or type them up in Notepad so you don't lose track, because I have to get it within the next 2 guesses. So 0 has been eliminated, 7 has been eliminated, 2 has been eliminated, 4 was eliminated. I've already tried repeating 5s, so that's not a possibility. The 9 does not go in that spot, so that's not a possibility. I've already tried the 8 in that spot. 6 has been eliminated. I've already done repeating 1s and repeating 3s. I could have sworn I've already tried them all. Crap. I wish I had a list of that numbers. So I know it's not the 9 that goes there. I know it's not a 0 that's there. It can't be a 7. It's not an 8. Let's try 6. So I at least have 4 H's. Do I want to try the 6? Or do I want to repeat 3? I think I've already tried repeating the 3. I'll try it again anyways. Okay, so it's 5 something 319 because we have the 4 H's and the other 3 is not in the third spot. I have to get it in this guess, but I could have sworn I've eliminated most of the numbers. I know the 9 doesn't go there, the 0 doesn't go there, the 7 doesn't go there. The 8 doesn't go there because I've tried it there. It's got to be 2 or 6. I I'll need to redo it, but now I want to know what that number is. I already tried the 6, 7, 8. Really? Oh, man. Could have sworn I had eliminated the 8 being in that position. Oh well. Reset. Now I gotta redo that whole friggin' thing. Mode for start. Okay. 1112. Okay, let's have my notepad. Two is in the incorrect spot. So we'll do 111. Oh no. We'll do 333. 2, 3. Two still in the incorrect spot. So we'll do 4, 4, 2, 4, 4. This 2 is still in the incorrect spot. So we'll do 5, 2, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so now we know that there is no 1s, 3s, or 4s. Oh, wow. That helped out quite a bit. So one of the 5s does not belong. So let's go ahead and do 5, 2, 5, 5, 6. Okay, that gave us 4 H's. Which means we now do 5, 2, 5, 5, 7. There we go. All right, next game. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. That one we just got really lucky with. Maybe the game felt bad for us because I didn't write this crap down. Okay, HTTT. Or HTTT. So the 2 has been eliminated. One of the ones is correct. So we will do 1, 3, 3, 3, 3. We have a single T. So the 1 is in the correct spot. 3 and 2 have been eliminated. So let's go ahead and do 4, 1, 4, 4, 4. Oops. Got to go to the new line. 4, 1, 4, 4. Try the 1 in the second spot. See if we can get that H to come back. And then see if we can get a second H with one of these 4s. Nope. 1 is still in the incorrect spot. So let's go ahead and do 5, 5, 1, 5, 5. Still trying to find out which spot the 1 is and find a second number. Okay, well, 5 T's. That tells me the 1 is taking the spot for one of the 5s, and the 1 is still in the wrong spot. So now let's go 6, 6, 5, 1, 6. So the 5 will give us an H. If the 1 is correct, it will also give us an H. And then we're going to check to see if the 6 belongs in it at all. Okay, 5 and 1 are now correct. 6 does not belong, so now we'll do 7, 7, 5, 1, 8. Try and figure out if we can get 2 of the numbers. Okay, we got 2 of the numbers, and the second is in the wrong spot, which is obvious. So let's do 7, 9, 5, 1, 8. 2 in the wrong spot, so that's the 9, that's the 7. We just have to swap them now. Okay. Next game. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. H and 3 T. So we're in the same position that we were that last time. So we will do, oops, I did 4 2 there. 1 3 3 3 3. See if the 1 is still in the right spot, and see if we get to add 3. Nope. Single T, so we'll move the 1 and see if we can add a 4. So 4 1 4 4 4. Okay, that. See if we can bring that first H there. 2 H's. Congratulations. 1 is now in the correct spot, and we only have 1 of the 4s because the other 3 have been eliminated. So let's keep the 4 in that first spot and add a 5. If we have just a single H, it's the wrong 4. We have 2 H's and 3 T's. Okay, that complicates things a little bit, but if we look at the other one, so we will say that the 4 is still one of the 5s is correct. The 1 is still correct. The 4 is now still the correct number, but in the wrong position, and the other 2 5s have been eliminated. So we have to move the 4. So the first number is none of those. So a 6. Theoretically, the first number could be a 5. But I'm not ready to try that yet. The 1 is in the correct position because that H has been constant. Second H is coming from a 5. We will leave that in the third spot. No, we'll leave it in the last spot and make the third number a 4. So we'll do 6 1 4 6 5 and see what results we get from that. HTT. So the 4 and the 5 are in the incorrect positions. The 1 is now the only number that is correct. 6 has been eliminated. So we'll do 7 1 5 or 7. If we go back to 2 H's, then the 5 and the 1 are correct, and the 4 is still wrong, but we should have at least a T and 2 H's. Or an H and 2 T's minimum. Okay, so we'll do a 7. Move the 5 there. Make that the 4, make that the 7. HTT still. So the 4 is still in the wrong spot, the 5 is in the wrong spot. So that tells me 7's been eliminated. 1, the 5 does not go there, so we'll go 8 1 8. The 5 has to go in that middle spot because that's one we haven't tried. And the 4's got to go in the last spot, because that's the only spot we haven't tried for that 4. We also haven't tried the 5 in the first spot, but that would make it so that the 5 would have a duplicate 5, which is a possibility. That first number could still be a 5. 3 T's. Oh, wow. Okay, now I gotta review things. Because, okay, so we had 2 H's when we had 4 1 4 4 4 with 3 T's. So we eliminate 3 of the 4's. Now we'll say that the 4 is correct in the first spot. That doesn't make sense. Well, now that we actually, new information, we know the 1 is in the incorrect spot still. It's not the second digit. And we had 2 H's when we had 4 1 4 4 4. So 2 of those 4's are correct. The 1 is still in the wrong spot. We now have that for information. That makes it so important to have this stuff written down. And the reason why I can say that is because the 1 is not the second number based on the fact that we don't have any H's with it there. So on the 4 1 4 4 4, where we had 2 H's, we still have to move the 1. And then the other 2 4's get eliminated. So from there, we will say it's 4, and then, okay, wait, no, we got to add that 5 in, because when we had 4 1 5 5 5, we added another H, and that made one of the 5's in the correct spot. The 1 is still in the wrong spot, and the 4 is still the first number. So this has to be a 4. Based on just the 4 1 4 4 4 and the 4 1 5 5 5 having 2 H's each. The 1 is still the wrong number. So let's go ahead and move the 1 here finally. We're going to make this a 9. Okay, where do we want to put the 5? At no other point did we have 2 H's because we moved the 4 each time. We had 1 H when the 4 was in the 3rd position and the 5 was in the last position with 2 T's. We know the 1 had to be moved from the 61465. So that's one of the T's. The other T could have been the 4 or the 5, which we had moved from the 1st position. Okay, so we know there's 2 4s, and one of them was in the last 3. So if we assume the second one, the 1 is in this 3rd position, then the 4 has to be in the 1st position, and since we had 3 T's when it was in the last, that can't be a 4 there. So possibly this one is a 4, this is a 4, or this is a 4. I know that much. Because this one is not. Now if I could figure out the 5, we have 61465, we had an H. If we're assuming the H was the 5, because we no longer have the 4 here, this is what our number would look like. So the 1 could still be in the wrong spot, but not if the 4 and the 5 are in the correct spot. So we could have 4 H's here, or all 5. We have 4 H's. Okay. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's 4 blank 1 4 5. Which would mean that I got the 2 4s that were needed. There's not an extra 5. That could be a 0. Still have 4 H's. Okay, which numbers have I not tried repeating? Okay, we figured out the 1. It can't be in any other position. So we don't repeat the 1. Because we already know it doesn't go in that position. We've already eliminated the T. I meant the 3. We've already eliminated 3's because with the 1, 3, 2, 3, 3 only having a T. We knew there was the 1 had to be moved, and we had 2 of the 4's. It could be repeating 4 because we didn't try a 4 here, and it did say that the 2 of the 4's were in the wrong position. It could also be a 5 because 2 of the 5's were in the wrong position. So we'll try a 4 first. There it is. 4 4 1 4 5. I hate dealing with these duplicates. All right. 8. I can get 8 wrong, so within 9 guesses. I got 9 guesses to get this one. 1 1 1 1 2. HTTT. So one of the ones is in the correct spot. The 2 has been eliminated. So 1 3 3 3 3. H. 3 has been eliminated. 1 is in the correct spot. So we'll do 1 4 4 4 5. See if we can get 2 more numbers in there. HHTTT. Oh. So one of the 4's is in the correct spot. The 1 still is in the correct spot. The 5 is in the wrong spot. So let's move the 5, keep the first 4. So move the 5 here. Actually, let's move it there. And make that those 6's. So 1 4 5 6 6. See what we get. HTT. So the 4 and the 5 are still in the wrong spots. Got it. So let's put the 5 here. Make that the 4. We've eliminated the 6. So let's make that a 7 and make that a 7. Let's see here. So I'm doing 1, 7, 4, 5, 7 now. 2 H's and 3 T's. 7's on the incorrect spot. The 4 or the 5 is now in the correct spot. See what? So 1 is still, we're assuming that 1 is a constant. Okay, with 3 in the incorrect spots and 1 in the correct spot. So let's say the 4 is in the correct spot. The 5 would be in the incorrect spot. When was the 5 in a correct spot? So we've never had a second H other than when we had multiple 4s. So the 5 does not go in that last spot. It was never in the second spot. So let's go ahead and do a 1, 5, 4, 7, 8. We'll move the 5 and the 7 by swapping them and see if that takes care of 2 of the T's. That's assuming the 4 was the second H, because we know the 1 is the first H because that's been a constant. What do we get? 4 H's. Okay, we'll assume H that it is now 1, 5, 4, 7. We'll assume swapping the 7 and the 5 made those 2 numbers correct, and that the 8 has been eliminated because 1 number is wrong. And we already know that 4 of the numbers are 1, 5, 4, and 7 based on the previous result, so we'll just try a 9 in that last spot. 0. Okay, now we got to repeat a number. 1s does not repeat because there is only, unless it goes in the last position. I forgot, I haven't tried in the 1 in the last position, and it could be possible because that would be a second 1 that's the correct number but in the wrong spot. So let's try the 1. Alright, we got it. So I'm not sure if people are going to want more explanation over my thought process of how I'm figuring it out, but the reason why I assumed the 1 was a possible repeat was because with a 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1 of the ones was in the correct spot, 3 of them were in the wrong spot. So usually you eliminate 3 of them because the 1 is already in the correct spot, so those would all move there. But I had not tried it in the last spot, so that was a possibility. Other possibilities, because I had already tried the 2, the 3, the 5, the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 9, and the 0. So the other possibility was it being a 4. That was the only other number I did not try in that spot, so I still would have gotten it within the correct amount of guesses. Alright, so I think that takes care of mind reader mode. Let me double check. Yeah, alright, on to NIM. Reset. Game. Oops. Game 2. Mode 1. Let's start with mode 1. Actually, we did all the achievements for Mind Reader. We'll call that a day, and because this was a request, we're actually going to be switching this game to 10 p.m. time zone for the time for my time zone, Pacific Standard Time, or Daylight Time. I forget what it is now. But anyways, and finishing up and do NIM mode then, because I'll have to learn what the heck NIM is. It says something about binary. I at least know how to do math in binary, so I have an advantage over that. Have a good day.